Robinson AI Talks, where high-caliber industry leaders meet with top faculty from Georgia State University, Robinson College of Business to explore the research, trends, and hottest topics shaping AI and technology today. These are the conversations that matter, bringing together executive insight and academic expertise to move the needle on what's next. Hope you enjoy this episode of Robinson AI Talks.
Hello, I'm Dr. Beverly Wright, and welcome to Robinson AI Talks. With us today, we have two wonderful guests, Junda Zhu from Honeywell and Arun Rai from Georgia State University. And we're talking about how AI changes workforce expectations and leadership. What an important topic. Thanks for being here, y'all.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Awesome. Well, let's start off with a little bit of background. Junda, tell us, why are you so cool with that incredible background you have? Tell us more about you.
Yeah, so my name is Junda Zhu. I'm the Director of Artificial Intelligence at Honeywell. Right now, we are part of the Center of Excellence for Honeywell as a whole. And as of today, we actually become Honeywell Technology after the spin-off aerospace. So pretty exciting day for all of us.
Wow. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, no problem. I come from a mechanical and industrial engineering background. Got my doctorate degree in industrial engineering and operation research, and I have been practicing AI and applied AI in the physical world since I graduated school.
Awesome. Very nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
Arun?
Well, it's great to be here, Beverly and Junda. I'm a 30-year Panther or a member of the GSU community. 7 years at Southern Illinois before that, so 37 years and counting in studying technology and its interrelationships with economic and business systems. That's been my focus. Currently, I'm Regents Professor and Director of the Center for Digital Innovation at Georgia State. A lot of our focus is on AI and the transformation that it's bringing about. What a profound opportunity and set of challenges we have to realize how AI can actually elevate human capability. And our core focus right now, among various initiatives which we'll talk about, is really leveraging that sweet spot of human with machine, human with AI, and changing that into a productive relationship in terms of what's possible for people and companies and organizations to realize their maximum potential while mitigating risks.
Nice. I love it. So it feels like we've been through these waves of just what matters and what's important in our field. And it used to be sort of engineering, and then it kind of became analytics, and then data science, and now AI. And are we looking at a psychology, sociology sort of thing, or communications around the corner? But let's think about the evolving balance between technical and business or communication skills. And so, Junda, let's start with you. Like, what do you see as sort of that evolving balance between the technical and sort of the, hard and soft, if you want to think about it that way?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think traditionally we've been trying to focusing on technical breadth and depth for our talents that come into Honeywell. At the same time, communication and storytelling with data is kind of a critical aspect of that, because if you cannot describe the project you're working on effectively, the work you have done efficiently, and the business outcome of your project, sometimes it becomes very hard to justify the continuing investment in certain aspects of the business. So for all our, almost like from junior to senior level, the communication aspect of that is critical for our success and one of the evaluation metrics for our current workforce. And with the emerging technologies from language models and AIs that we have seen, that is a very, very strong tool to help us in terms of what we can tell, as well as how efficient we can tell a story. Because a lot of these tools can help us with different kind level of write-ups, as well as the graphical representation. So the storyteller can focusing more on the area that needs human touch as well as the technical aspect of the storytelling. So I think that's so helpful at this point.
Yeah. Would you say it has changed over time? That it used to be like, oh, you could kind of get away with it if you couldn't communicate, as long as you were really good technically, that you could sort of train that part or not worry about it too much, and now it's more? Or would you say it's about the same, or what do you see the evolution looking like?
I think the need for communication, strong communication skill for technical workforce has always been the requirement. But the perks for the current generation of AI talent is that they have more tools to help them to become more effective when communicating their stories, as well as their business outcomes that they want to drive as well, with the language model to help them with the assistant code, even vibe code, as well as for example, the slide generation, as well as storytelling and templates, so they can focus more of their energy on actually the core piece of the cornerstone for the technical project, rather than these auxiliary tasks that they have to perform.
Right, got it. And Arun, you're helping form the next generation. I mean, that's a real heavy task that you're creating the next generation of who's going to go work for, hypothetically, Junda or any of these other hiring managers. What would you say about what do you see as the shifting balance between technical and soft skills?
I think that's such an awesome question. I'd reframe, if I could, the opportunity in terms of, on the one hand, you have the technical skills. On the other hand, you have domain skills or expertise. Overlay on the domain expertise, of course, you have the human and interpersonal dimensions to it. So with the technical skills, first aspect I would observe is there's something very different about AI. Unlike other technologies which we have seen, for example, be it mobile, be it enterprise systems, be it cloud,
even digital,
Digital, yeah. It sort of comes down to there being deterministic systems. But when you look at AI, it's a probabilistic system. And in that process, for us to design workflows, to have people working with systems, be it predictive AI, be it generative AI, agentic AI, there's a probabilistic aspect to it.
Absolutely.
So the human judgment becomes so crucial to this process. And the pieces that are working in to engage with and provide the raw materials and content, be it the data, be it other tools, that becomes a profound design set of choices that need to be worked out. But the role of the human in the loop is an evolving frontier. Because on the one hand, you have AI as a technology that's going through a accelerating, by the day surprising trajectory of technological potential. We see the benchmarks, we see all of this stuff. The organizations are, in the meanwhile, trying to figure out what it means to be domain ready with AI. So how do we do human resources? How do we do marketing? How do we do production with AI? How do our jobs get redesigned? And on our side, the educational side, we are trying to figure out what it means to have students to be AI ready. So we have the AI readiness of students, which we need to achieve, which isn't about just learning how to use a tool, but being able to do it within a domain. Organizations clearly need that redesign within the organization, and we need to coordinate this together. So one of the things that we have done, Beverly, as you know, and Junda, we have spoken about this. As Georgia State, we are part of, and we're leading the PATH initiative, which is Pathways for Training and Hiring of AI talent to make them more ready to engage with the evolving frontier of business. This is a collaboration with MIT, sponsored by google.org, and maybe over the course of the conversation we'll talk more about it. But underpinning this is not just about learning the latest tools, it's about human and it's about technical and domain expertise, achieving that fusion, work-based learning is absolutely critical. So at the end of the day, these cannot be Mickey Mouse projects. They have to have work-based learning as an integral part of cultivating that expertise, which is working in a domain with AI. And we have to work collaboratively towards that between university, industry, and of course, other partners.
Yeah, absolutely. Any reflections on that? I'm especially interested to know your thoughts around the judgment part as well.
Yeah, I think with the human in the loop aspect of that, I'll bring up example that in the physical AI world that we're in right now, we're not talking about a consumer product recommendations. We're talking about a set point in a large manufacturing or refinery setup that these set points to control the actual machinery needs to be thoroughly verified by human before input into actual action into the control system. So that human in the loop aspect of that is highly, highly critical and needs to be guardrailed and governed very well with the AI governance and data governance process from us. And that aspect for us is to design a system that helps and enables the human to be able to be more efficient with upcoming tasks, but also keep human in the loop for critical decisions to make decisions that impact physical appearance as well as the performance of the assets or machineries. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to make an observation, picking up on Junda's comments, right? So this notion around judgment, I think there's a shift even at the entry level, which we're observing, that people, entry-level workers, need to be able to now shift from just producing content. It could be writing code in the past, it could be writing promotional emails and marketing or promotional content and marketing, to say, if I have 3 versions of something generated by different AI agents, what judgment do I bring to bear to say that these are actually solid and good and authentic and credible? Because it's going to look pretty credible. But the point is it truly aligned with what you want to achieve? And that aspect around not just producing or only having a productivity metric, but really having that judgment around not just how many of X did you produce by way of output, lines of code, number of messages, whatever else, but to say, what was the quality of your decision making around that content being generated at a faster and faster pace. So herein, I think there's a dual problem. This is not just something that can be imposed on the worker.
Right.
Because obviously you have a mismatch in terms of capacity of the systems vis-a-vis the cognitive capacity of humans. So to Junda's point, you're going to have certain guardrails and systems which are put in place so the human is very purposefully and deliberately brought into the loop where their judgment is applied against that content with meaningful guardrails and system design parameters in place.
Absolutely. I think I want to continue on
Yeah.
that topic a little bit more. Is that one of the challenges that we need to transition our new hires to a senior level position is that when they fresh leave the college, they typically work on projects with 1 or 2 people, so they're like one-man army in that term. But when they move into a commercial setup for AI purposes, not only they're just responsible for a small piece of that, developing for example, the machine learning models, they also have to basically oversee the entire life cycle of the model in terms of data ingestion, in terms of inference, in terms of pipeline, in terms of maintaining this machine learning operation process running live in the production system. That's one of the points that we need to transition that mindset, that you have to work with other function groups. But when it comes to the using AI technology particularly, exactly what Arun was talking about, that the human intervention is absolutely needed at this point because there's a tool to help you to write code, but the code is not just a piece of script and that you can just throw out there and then it will work. It has to be working in a production system with production quality, with production service level agreement capabilities, and all those things need to be there. And with that, I also want to bring another topic, is that the expectation for our younger generation of workforce entering the market is kind of high at this point, because especially in the physical world that Honeywell operates in, that we're seeing a lot of more experienced workforce that have been with the company for 20 years, 30 years, and they are retiring. The younger generation that come into workforce that's digitally homegrown kind of digital capability in there, that they don't deal with paper trails, they
Right.
don't deal with just a scan of the document. They're expecting a tool to help them with, if I click this, something will work kind of way. So, but the expectation for them is actually also high, because there's a gap in terms of skill in between the highly experienced leaving the workforce and how we can build tools to enable the younger workforce entering the domain to be highly efficient and work with the more senior member of the team to make a decision for the content they're generating, code they're generating, the decision they're generating as well.
Yeah. There's a lot of conversation about decisioning and the way that our work is changing. So I read an article recently, it talked about the workforce, especially in data science, where I've always played, that it used to be task, decision. And your decisions were highly informed because you had to struggle through these tasks. And now with AI, it's like AI handles the task, so that you're really just going decision. But my question for you guys is, how can you be so informed about what the right and wrong decisions are if you didn't do the tasks? Like, how are you helping, the young talent, the rising talent, or the early workers? How are you helping them with that judgment? There's a lot of talk about, like, oh, we're going to become judges and that's it. We're going to assess and judge. But how do we know what's right and wrong if we haven't been through some of the tasks?
So I'll take a shot at that and share some of what we are doing with the PATH program. So let's think about students who are getting ready, and we are trying to prep them for the kind of environment you described, Junda. The entry-level workforce requirements are dramatically changing in industry. You want people with the ability to engage with problems and deliver solutions, sort of working across functions and cross-functional tasks. So our first starting imperative to our students is, it's not only about your skills inventory. Skills inventory is good, but clearly insufficient. What they need to be able to do, and we are creating the structures for them to develop those skill sets, is to go from problem to solution to impact. And to have that demonstrated, that they can apply those skills in problem domains to develop solutions, and to be able to go through the trialing process of those different solutions, and then to demonstrate impact. So the point is, how does this happen? The way we do this is by working in problem-based learning and work-based learning into, and literally baking it into the learning process of students as they go through. So what ends up happening is, in fact, we had a really interesting event. Beverly, you might have been at that one, where we had one of the hiring managers from a major corporation in Atlanta, who was out there, and she observed that a lot of the students here actually, through this type of learning experience, through their internships and other types of projects that they worked with organizations, were already at a level of maybe a year or two of work experience.
Yep.
So rather than only think about them as entry level in a traditional sense employee, we are now bringing that AI X aspect, where they're able to take AI in problem domain X. It could have been a marketing domain, it could have been a manufacturing domain, it could be in fintech, whatever the domain. They're able to demonstrate that we got the skills, the tech skills. We also are able to work with the domain knowledge, and also contend with the inherent uncertainties of judgment and choice.
Yes.
And I think that's the part that the task cannot be considered as only delegated
Right.
to an AI system, and I'm sitting in judgment at the end of the process. So if we just overlaid AI in terms of traditional processes, then essentially the system hasn't been rethought, given AI, the new opportunities and the new risks, given the probabilistic nature of the system and the rapidly evolving frontier. So I think what we are seeing is a rather deep structural change that is underway in terms of the designer work and commensurately how we are training our students. And I think organizations are going to have to deal with how they create the career ladders for people, because absent that, organizations also have the hollowing out problem.
Yes.
So if you don't have a career pathway and you say no entry level or whatever the new entry level is, how does the talent develop on that side? So we need a realignment here, and I think that's very much an exciting part of this journey where we have opportunities for collaboration with organizations like Junda's and Georgia State University. And
Absolutely, Arun. So I think maybe talk about that topic particularly, that I think the best way for the recent graduate to understand, to be like workforce ready in the AI domain, is that to actively seeking internship opportunities and co-op opportunities, and the corporation side of things need to offer that opportunity to the intern in the massive scale. So make sure that we have the talent pyramid that we're looking for. So at Honeywell this summer particularly, we have over 100 interns, and among them about 60 of them are focusing on AI. And for my team, the AI engineering as well as data science, we have about 37 of them as of now. And these folks coming from different domains, as data scientists folks typically are, they're starting to understand, okay, I was responsible for only the building a model to forecast something, but right now I have to oversee the deployment of this. I have to understand the CI/CD process. I have to understand the maintenance of these pipelines and monitoring of these pipelines. So get them workforce ready. The next year, we're going to do a lot of co-ops. So that will be a much longer engagement of 6 months for them to stay with us.
Nice.
And with that, we also have a very strong conversion rate of, like last year, or even this year, we're trying to hit 70% conversion for them to become a full-time employee, if the performance and behaviors are there, of course. But speaking of the AI impact for your question, Beverly, I think right now, AI is basically a beachhead project that even within the enterprise organization is spearhead in terms of a lot of technology and processes. But the entire CI/CD pipeline, the other process has to keep up as well. And then we have to define these and provide tools to help others to push forward with us as well. Otherwise, for example, if we have the best AI solutions for the industrial automation market, our sales team, our offering team, our business partners, we need to speak to that in an intelligent way so this can meet the market expectation from the customers and set the right expectation for the customers as well, as a lot of them are non-deterministic and by nature. Right?
Yeah. Well, as our final question, what do we need to do to help prepare the next generation, given that things are changing so rapidly? So if you could do like one piece of advice, maybe for the academic side, like what would you recommend that we do differently? And then Arun, what would you recommend that the practitioners do differently? So is there anything in particular that you can recommend that the academics can do to help you do what you do?
Yeah, I think skill and behavior and culture fit, those are the three critical dimensions for us, of course. But communication, as well as I want to latch on to the previous topic we talked about in terms of business acumen for our analytics workforce as well, is also very important. Because just because there's a shining object doesn't mean that we have always to pursue it immediately, right? What's the level of effort needed? What's the level of investment? What's the return of investment? How soon can we get that return of investment? These are the things that we need to be able to speak to so we can sustain the project success once it's gaining momentum. I think those are the qualities we're looking for.
Okay, so having that critical view of what's really needed at certain times. Arun, what do you think?
Yeah, from my side, I think the partnership aspect is where I would center on. And I think with focus around achieving what's going to be crucial for organizations to become domain ready with AI rather than treat it in a siloed way and say industry does it or an academia does it, and then we have some market mechanism figure out how these two align, which the market mechanism, of course, will work through. But having partnerships within communities where we have sandboxes in terms of what new tasks and jobs might look like, how roles might be completely being modified, and new roles are emerging. We have people who are becoming architects of these new systems and processes.
Yes.
What do those new roles look like? And how essentially are we rethinking jobs and roles given AI becomes something that we could collaborate deeply on, both through the internship pipeline, but also through a lot of our research pipeline.
Right.
Because when you think about it, skills are shifting and shifting continuously. From our side, we have to let those skills reflect within a semester. I'm just standing with us, sitting with our usual cycle of work onto our syllabi. On the industry side, it has to translate into how does that redefine a role, a job. And very often the HR job descriptions might just show up very late
Right.
To capture what's happening. So if indeed that learning process and that discovery process is one where we have greater partnership between industry and academia, that would be profound. I think we need an ecosystem view. Like, for example, within PATH, our viewpoint is that we need a vibrant ecosystem to develop the workforce talent and the pipeline in a way that's dynamically adjusting to the technological changes and what we're learning about how to do work. And that just becomes such a fascinating opportunity for us to collaborate
Absolutely.
on. So-
Like help us help you, basically.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
I love it. Thank you so much to both of you for this episode of Robinson AI Talks, where we talked about the AI talent shift, preparing leaders and teams for what's next.